Have you ever noticed something odd? January somehow lasted about 6 months, and then you blink, and suddenly it's July? It feels like New Year's was only a few weeks ago. Maybe you've caught yourself saying, I can't believe it's already Christmas again. Wasn't that concert only last month? Wait, wasn't 2020 like yesterday? At some point, years stop feeling like years. They start feeling like weekends. When you're a kid, summer holidays feel endless. Waiting for your birthday feels impossible. One school year feels like a lifetime. And entire seasons disappear before you even notice them. So what changed? Did time actually speed up? Or did something inside us change instead? Because as it turns out, your clock is working perfectly. It's your brain that's playing tricks on you. Let's do a little experiment. Think back to yesterday. Can you remember everything you did? Probably not. Maybe you remember eating breakfast. Maybe you remember work. Maybe you remember lying in bed scrolling until you convinced yourself one more reel definitely wouldn't become another 45 minutes. The rest? Kind of blurry. Now think about your very first day of high school, your first concert, your first day at a new job. Funny how memories from years ago can feel sharper than Tuesday. Our brains are selective. They're less like security cameras and more like film editors. They don't keep everything. They keep the highlights. Everything else gets left on the cutting room floor, which sounds efficient, until you realize most adult life looks suspiciously similar from one Tuesday to the next. Wake up, commute, work, dinner, phone, sleep, repeat. Your brain looks at that sequence and basically says, yep, we've already got this episode, no need to save another copy. Think about being 5 years old. Everything was new. The first day at school, learning to ride a bike, meeting new friends, going to the zoo, trying new food. Even getting lost in the supermarket felt like an adventure. Every week introduced something your brain had never experienced before, so it pays attention. It really paid attention. Novel experiences demand processing. Your brain has to figure out what's happening, where you are, who's around you, whether it's safe, whether it's important, and that takes effort. And because it takes effort, those moments become richer memories. Now compare that to your average Wednesday. Wake up, drive the same road, sit at the same desk, talk to the same people, open the same apps, watch the same shows, brush your teeth, go to bed. Your brain isn't ignoring your life. It just becomes incredibly efficient at predicting it, which is great if you're trying to survive. Less great if you're trying to remember where the last 3 years went. Imagine watching a 10-hour movie. Every single scene is identical. Same room, same conversation, same camera angle. By the end, it barely feels like anything happened. Now imagine another movie that's also 10 hours long. Every scene is different. New locations, new characters, unexpected twists. You'll probably remember it as feeling longer, even though both movies lasted exactly the same amount of time. Life works a bit like that. Your brain isn't measuring life with a stopwatch. It's measuring it with memories. The more unique moments you create, the more pages there are to flip back through later. When there are fewer pages, your brain fills in the gaps with simple summary. Yeah, work happened, and somehow, 3 months disappear. Have you ever noticed that a 1-week holiday can feel longer than an entire month at home? It's one of the weirdest tricks our brains play. You land somewhere new, the signs look different, the food tastes different, the streets smell different. You have to consciously think about where you're walking, how to order coffee, which train to catch. Everything requires attention. So your brain lights up. It's creating memories almost constantly. Then you come home. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, work, gym, dinner, phone, repeat. 4 weeks later. You honestly couldn't tell someone what happened on the second Tuesday. Not because nothing happened, because nothing surprised your brain. There's another reason time feels faster now. We've become really good at filling every empty moment. Waiting for a train? Look at your phone. Standing in line? Open Instagram. Eating lunch? Scroll TikTok. Bathroom? Definitely phone. We rarely allow ourselves to simply exist. Every tiny gap gets patched over with more scrolling, more videos, more notifications, more noise. Our attention becomes fragmented. Our days blur together. Weeks blur together. Eventually, years do too. It's a strange irony. We've never documented our lives more, yet we've never been worse at actually experiencing them. Thousands of photos, hundreds of saved videos, entire conversations archived forever. Yet somehow, it still feels like life is flying past us. Here's the good news. You can't slow the clock down, but you can change how your brain experiences it. You don't need to quit your job, move overseas, or climb Mount Everest. Although, if you do, send photos. Your brain isn't asking for dramatic change, it's asking for novelty. Walk home a different way. Try a cafe you've never been to. Read a book outside your usual interests. Learn a recipe you'll probably mess up the first time. Talk to someone you wouldn't normally talk to. Listen to an album from start to finish. Leave your headphones at home for your next walk. Even tiny moments of novelty tell your brain, this matters. Save this. Because a memorable life isn't built from huge milestones. It's built from hundreds of small moments that don't all look the same. Maybe time isn't moving faster. Maybe your brain has just become really, really good at compressing familiar days. The clock on your wall hasn't changed. The calendar hasn't changed. The number of hours in a day hasn't changed. Only the way your mind stores them. So if this year already feels like it's slipping away, don't spend the next 6 months trying to hold on to time. Spend them giving your brain something worth remembering. Because one day you'll look back on this year the same way that you look back on your childhood. Not because it lasted longer, but because of what filled it. I've been Oddy, and I'll see you in the next one.